Welcome to the second Terminal 2 Tuesday. It's all a part of Endless Studios' Endless Summer event, where kids everywhere get to hack our games to win while learning to code. That's right, we are going to play, have fun, and code, all for free! Be sure to stay through the end of this presentation to learn about how you can win these raffle prizes too. My name's Katie, I'll be your host today. Let's get started. So, each week, we're hacking our games and showcasing a new computer science concept. Last week, we focused on second-to-second, minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour loops. These loops make up most games. So today, we're going to learn how to hack using conditionals in our loops. In our last video, you'll remember we explored loops in Frog Splash. We're going to circle back to that game. We're going to show how to take things to the next level with these conditional loops. So if you want a head start while we chat about these conditionals, you can feel free to sign into your Terminal 2 account. We have Frog Squash up on our site over at terminal2.com/games/frog-squash. If you go to our main page, you'll be able to find Frog Squash. So be sure to play along while we chat. Now, loops are pretty powerful. They're all around us, and they're in programming. They're a basic structure. They let the computer repeat one or more steps. We can use conditionals to control our loops. This way, we can let them know when to start and stop, or never happen, or based on anything that we want, we can make sure that those loops behave accordingly. The conditionals give the programmer control over the loop. Without conditionals, the loop might run forever. That can cause some issues, it can break things. It's kind of not ideal. So if you imagine an infinite loop, you can imagine a thing like a tornado or a hurricane that just gets bigger and bigger. It goes forever, it tears up everything in its path, and it never has that off switch. I want you to think back to when you were little. We're going to do a little thought experiment. Everyone has learned how to cross the street, right? So when you were little, your parents maybe taught you, or some kind of guardian brought you to a street crossing and always told you to make sure, look both ways before you cross the street. This is how we learn to kind of adapt to different crossings we might occur. There might be super busy streets, there might be super long streets, there might even be streets that you don't really want to cross in the first place, like freeways. So the more that people taught us and the more we practiced, the more it kind of got ingrained in your system to become second nature. This slowly built up our knowledge to the point where we don't even think about looking both ways before we cross the street, right? We come to an intersection, we look at the light, is it red, is it green? We look both ways. If we can cross the street, we make sure nobody's coming, nobody's running red lights, and then we cross the street. So it becomes second nature when you do it that many times. If you think about it, this is kind of the same way if you learned how to ride a bike, right? You had to learn a bunch of new things, and you kind of leveled up as you got better and better. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to level up our loops by applying conditionals. So talking about Frog Squash, when we hack and code in Frog Squash, we're teaching this little computer frog all kinds of ways to cross the road safely. We don't want to get our frog squashed, so we have to get better at hacking the frog's brain and up our score as that frog gets further and further in crossing the road. The commands, loops, and conditionals we use to program the frog are just like the lessons that our parents and other adults taught us. We've everything we've learned, everything, you know, we've absorbed, that we're learning to be safe in these environments, like crossing the road, gets coded into our brains. It creates new connections, and that's what ultimately leads to that behavior where when you get to an intersection, you just do these things to stay safe. In the game, we're kind of doing the same thing. We're coding the frog to avoid obstacles, cross the road safely, and ultimately get you more points. So it's a win-win. We've talked about last week NASCAR and Formula One, and how racing is filled with loops. Racing teams, they use conditionals to control these loops and help them win. So the drivers, when they race and they compete, when the tires are in good shape, when the car has enough gas, when the driver is awake and vigilant, that's one state. But ultimately, you know, eventually the tires get worn down, the gas gets low, the driver might not be in peak performance. The driver pulls in for a pit stop. They can change out their tires, they get more gas, and that is ultimately a break in the loop of their racing. So the conditionals to the racing loop are these pieces that include checks to the tires and the gas and anything else that the driver might need. So some races are all about how fast the driver can complete a set number of laps. Once they get to the last lap, the race is over, and whoever was the fastest wins. The drivers will race a set number of laps, and then once they've reached the number of laps to win, then they stop. In computer science, this is a for loop within a conditional statement. So the conditional specifically is stop racing when you get to the target number of laps. The loop would be race your car for another lap. Over and over and over and over. So together with the conditional of stop racing when you get to the target number of laps and the loop of go another lap, allows the driver to race the exact number of laps they need in order to finish the race. If we were programming a racing game, this conditional loop would look different. That one that says something like, whenever the car is low on gas, stop looping, stop racing, and make a pit stop. Instead, it would say something like, when we reach the target number of laps, stop driving. So, as some examples of conditionals, they can allow you to get really specific about the loops that you create. So another real world example, if you've played board games, specifically Monopoly type board games, then you've played with a conditional loop. So in Monopoly, the game consists of rounds. Each player takes a turn. When their turn comes around, they roll their dice, they move their piece on the board, and then they either pay rent to the owner of the space, or if nobody owns it, you can buy it, or you can put it up for auction. So the condition of this loop on the player's turn is ultimately ends up how much money they have, right? So either you're doling out your money, you're making money on other players' turn, or you're making strategic decisions based on the spaces you own. So during the game, if you run out of money, then you lose, right? The condition is to stay in Monopoly and get as much money as you can so you can continue playing, and ultimately run everyone else out of the game by taking all of their money. So another real world example is the card game Uno. I super love Uno. Uh, it's another example that has great conditional loops. So there's a main conditional loop, right? Where in the game, if you end up with one card, you win. You say Uno, and that's it. You win the game. So your main goal is to empty your hand of cards. The game, the conditional in the game is basically, go through all the players, and until one of the players has one card, then the game will keep playing. There's a lot more conditionals within Uno itself. So there are cards that can change the loop of the game. It can change the specifics of drawing cards. It can change the direction of the loop that's currently happening. So it's basically if you run into a negative event or an event that disrupts the loop, that's probably non-beneficial for you. You're drawing more cards. You get your turn skipped. It's not a positive condition. So you may end up in the situation where I've been a couple times, where you just have half of the Uno deck in your hand, and it's really hard to hold all those cards. So Uno's a pretty good example about how even though there's a core loop, there's different conditionals that can totally mix up the game. If you apply this to programming, there's a similar process when you think about how conditionals are applied to card games and board games to when we apply it to programming. Okay, so I hope you followed all that. It was a lot, but we're going to get into some fun stuff now. So there's a lot of conditions for rules in something like Frog Squash. So we can jump into the video game and put them to use in one of our games. So I've asked my friend Randy to join us. Hello, Randy.
Greetings.
So Randy is a lead game designer at Endless Studios. So he's here today to show us about conditional loops. So Randy, can you show us how these might exist in something like Frog Squash?
Sure. It's really good to be here talking to you all, and let's get this set up. Open this up, and all right, let's go to start playing and get down to Frog Squash and start playing Frog Squash. All right. So Frog Squash is a game that is all about conditionals, especially if you want to get a top score. So let's build a few loops. Conditionals and loops go kind of hand in hand. So
Awesome. I'm excited to see.
okay. Well, what do you think? Easy, medium, hard?
Oof. Are you a veteran Frog Squasher?
Sure. Let's go medium. I'm nervous.
I've tried hard a couple times. It's pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. So, starting with kind of the simplest loop in Frog Squash, we have a thing called wait, and I'm gonna put a number of 3 in here, and I'm gonna hit run. So what just happened?
You did
it! We did it. So the condition in this loop is called, this is a wait counter, and the frog will wait 3 seconds anytime we run this loop, hopefully clearing the road. you know.
Well, that was really cute, but I think that the goal is to get across the road. But
If,
couldn't you also just write it directly without giving it some kind of loop?
yeah, I mean that's like wait is letting the system just operate on its own, and if we were playing this, yes,
Mm.
exactly. And the way this actually works, oh, I could already get nerd out on this. Is it's counter. It's a counter. It's saying wait one, wait two, wait three. Oh, okay, we're done waiting.
So it's
So
just like the NASCAR driving around
it
once,
is.
twice, three times.
So
Awesome.
I guess maybe we should, get a little bit more action in this conditional loop. Um, so we're gonna add one called repeat. I'm gonna get rid of this. How many times should we repeat this one?
Well, you did it three to begin with, so I guess
Okay.
three is a good place to start.
So as you can see, this actually has this kind of little green bar, which means that anything we put in here is going to repeat that number of times. So why don't we say repeat move forward? Um, and what happens?
Oh yeah. So that wait really cleared the road for you in order to get
It,
past a couple
it
things.
did. Should I hit run again?
I don't know. There's a precarious arrow hanging out.
Okay.
Maybe we should wait again.
No. Oh,
Well, he
uh,
tried his best.
yeah. So I think, you know, we should probably make this a little bit more complicated because I failed immediately. Um, so this is where conditionals, like a conditional loop, is incredibly powerful, and this is actually a fundamental. We can have a lot of fun with this. This is kind of a fundamental element of computer programming. Is I am now going to put that in there. And let's say wait one, else move forward. So this loop is, a bit more complex, um, but it's still pretty simple. So the use of repeat creates the loop. This will repeat itself three times. And then there's a conditional statement inside of the loop, which is if detects obstacle, which actually we don't care about obstacles right now. We care about dangers. So we can put different condition, like this is a conditional statement. And so I can say what I'm looking for. So I'm going to say if detects danger,
Okay.
wait 1 second. So then it does another loop inside of the loop, and
Mm.
then it goes back. Um, so after waiting or moving forward, the loop will repeat again. And there's a counter, so it'll do this that many times. Just repeat for three times, four times, endless. So
Got it. Cool. So this is literally, I've come to the crosswalk. I've looked both ways. If there's danger, don't go. If there's no danger, get across the
mhm,
street.
mhm.
Yeah, there he goes. So it seems a little laborious and not super exciting. Couldn't you just tell the repeat to go forever and leave it at
Uh,
that?
I could. Are we going to find that out? Can you, Frog,
Sure.
Frog Squash has this built in. We have a little thing called infinite. Now, there's obviously no infinite numbers in your computer, but I think your computer can get up to what, like maybe 32 billion or trillion or something. So I don't think we're worried about hitting that limit.
I don't know how long it would take me to count to that.
Oh,
Oh, he tried.
all right. Let's try. Let's try one more.
Oh, that spoopy fog. It's so scary. Come on, guy. You can do it. Oh, he's doing pretty good. Oh,
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 okay.
Randy. Oh,
Pretty good score.
that was not a good high score. Okay.
Better than mine.
Uh,
Mine are like
yeah.
10.
So, just like crossing the road in real life, well, mostly real life, there's a lot going on in this game, so you need a number of strategies to stay safe, you know.
Is
So,
there a way that you would change the conditionals in your repeat loop to maybe improve the frog's longevity?
sure. Yeah, maybe let's try something different. I am gonna say instead of detecting danger, I'm gonna move right, and then otherwise move forward. Um, and then after this, let's see if this works.
Uh-oh.
I think I can do this. If detects obstacle,
We're getting
move.
extra
Yeah,
fancy. I guess in the long
come on,
run,
come on.
it's kind of just like a sentence that you're creating.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
Oh,
just
that's a really good way to put it. It's kind of like you're writing a sentence. And if it's gonna, we're, come on, this. Okay, we're gonna try this once more. See it, see it. Yeah.
frog's brain is resisting
Frogs.
change.
Okay, wait. I know how we can do this.
Oh.
I know how we can do this. Move left. Oh boy. Well, we're gonna.
We tried to make the
We
frog's
try
life
to.
better.
Yeah,
He doesn't want it.
he doesn't want it.
Being
So.
stubborn.
Oh. And I've created an error because I left my conditional statement empty. Oh, that's no good.
Oh.
That's no good.
I guess that makes sense because if you come to a walk road
Mm-hmm.
full of busy cars and you don't have a
Oh, there we
lick
go.
of idea of what to do, I guess you would air out.
Yes. All right. I got this working. All right. Let's find out.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Oh
oh,
boy.
turns out my code was bad.
He really likes to follow those little.
So maybe we need to instead move right when it detects an obstacle and move left when it, let's.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Ah!
all right. Well, there you go.
That was very exciting. I like her little frog, and he tried his best. Um, but I feel like we've used frog squash a bunch. Are there other examples maybe that have some conditionals we can share?
There are actually conditionals are kind of a fundamental element of programming, and they kind of exist in a lot of our games.
Cool.
I'm going to show you another one of our games. Um, the Passage is one of those games. It's filled with conditional loops.
What kind of game is the passage?
It is a side-scrolling game.
Awesome. Love side scrollers. All the way back to Mega Man.
Yeah. Are you? Yeah. Mega Man is. I'm terrible at that. So I was thinking about what's a good way to kind of show is as a programmer and a game designer, I want you to see. I bet we can find 10. I bet we can find 10 conditionals in the first like 30 seconds of this game.
All right. I will
I
keep
want to see
count.
if you can help me find 10 conditionals.
Oh, that's a little harder.
hmm
Okay.
So, so right now we already have probably 5 different conditionals going on. Do you
All
know
right.
what I'm? Oh, there's
Well,
one. There's one.
if if you fall into the gross green goo,
Exactly.
you don't survive.
Yeah.
That's one.
If you lose a heart, there you go. Here's another one.
Um, if you run, is it if you press right, you run right,
Uh-huh.
and
Or A
then
and A and D are the actual keys
okay,
that I'm holding. But
and
and then
then you what is this? Oh, press H to
mm-hmm,
hack.
mm-hmm.
So if you press H, I bet you can hack
There's
that.
even more going on right here.
Oh. Oh, like if you get close to the thing,
Mm-hmm.
so show text.
Exactly.
So subtle. I didn't
And
even think
it's
of
even
it.
kind of lighting up. And so now, if press H, pop up this whole cool coding interface. And this is showing us some code inside of Ada, our main character.
Okay.
So, so inside of here, we have a little function called onGameLoad, and it's talking about our Ada is our main character, and it is saying when blank is pressed, Ada jump. And in the passage, you get to control what all of these variables are. So I think I am a W kind of person. So, so I'm going
That's
to say when
awesome.
W is pressed, A to jump. But if I don't have that there, I can't jump in this game. But now I can.
So you're literally teaching Ada through coding new skills.
hmm Here's another conditional. What's this conditional?
It's a loop that is causing the platform to
hmm
go up and down.
hmm What's the conditional?
Uh,
Any idea?
never stop.
Oh, but it is stopping. Well, it's the loop is going over and
Oh,
over, but if Y, aka the vertical this position of our platform ever crosses a point,
go the other way.
it's go the other way. If it ever goes
Ah.
below a certain point, uh, flip your direction, start moving up. So,
It's
and
so subtle, and I'm so used to these behaviors in games that just I
hmm
take them for granted.
hmm
Platforms move up and down. That's how they do.
and this is exactly shown over here where you get to hack the platform. So we actually have to tell this platform to move. Like if we're just hanging out here, it's not moving.
Oh yeah. Teach that
So
platform.
so current platform dot is active equal what should we make it?
True is synonymous for yes, so I would vote yes, it needs to be active.
Okay. Done.
There it goes.
There it
I'm so
goes.
proud of our little platform.
Mm-hmm. And then I have another little like again being a nerd about games uh, is we can only jump if we're on the ground.
Okay, yeah. Again, another thing I've totally taken for granted in games.
hmm If you play lots of games, they have a double jump and they let you jump once in the air. And they
hmm
say if you haven't jumped in the air, you can jump again. But if you have jumped in the air, if you are in the air and you've jumped in the air, you cannot jump anymore.
Amazing.
There
Things
you go.
things that programmers do are slowly the magic veil is slowly coming off and I'm
hmm
understanding more and more.
hmm And I think we need to increase our health because you put
Yeah,
us into a pit. I guess I put us into a pit of dangerous stuff.
it's
So
okay. I'm
I'm
glad
gonna say, yeah,
we can fix it.
Ada increase health, and we only lost one health. So I'm gonna change this to I can leave this at one, but now we have full hearts again,
Perfect.
and now we have our key.
I've lost count of the conditionals, but I guarantee we're over 10.
I think we might be. So, it's probably time for me to get back to working on games. But,
Okay.
but
Well, I know you're super busy
yeah,
coding all of our games for us.
I'm not coding the games. There are much better coders than me. I just know a little bit about it. But I'm really glad you invited me to come on and share some information. Thank you, and thanks to everyone playing along at home.
Yes, thank you, Randy. It was great to have you here. Thank you for playing these games. All right. So that was really great to see Randy play both Frog Squash and The Passage. Um, just a reminder, those are up on our website. So if you go to terminal2.com, you can find both Frog Squash and The Passage. And that will be particularly important in our raffle. So if we can bring up the slides again, we'll be able to see what's coming up. Awesome. So on to the weekly raffle. So a part of Terminal 2 Summers, we have a weekly raffle. You enter each week and you have a chance to win awesome prizes. So for our prizes, as you can see, you get Terminal 2 branded swag, which is pretty cool. Last week, we challenged everyone to play Frog Squash. You submitted your highest scores with us, and then you had a chance to win this swag. So you can win a Terminal 2 t-shirt. You can win a water bottle and a backpack, and Terminal 2 stickers. So that's the physical swag you get. Additionally, you get a game code that unlocks all of the games currently on Terminal 2 for your account. How cool is that? So, this week, we have another raffle, like I mentioned. We want to challenge you guys to play The Passage, just like you saw Randy play. We want to see how far you get. The game uses conditional loops, so please play the game, take a screenshot, and share it with us. We love to see what you guys code in the game and how far you get. So everyone who shares an image with us will be entered into our week 3 raffle, which will happen next Tuesday. You also get an additional entry into our grand prize raffle. That will be shared with you on our final week, as long as when we pick the winners for that. So for our current entry, remember, you play The Passage, you send us a screenshot. You have until midnight the night before Tuesday, so Monday night. We will randomly pick 2 winners from the list of people who shared the screenshots. So, what is the grand prize? It's pretty cool. So our grand prize will receive the swag bag full of that t-shirt, that backpack, everything awesome, Terminal 2 branded. You get the Terminal 2 game code to unlock all of the available games for your account. And you get a voucher to join our Endless Studios courses that are starting in August. So these courses are pretty cool because you will learn how to make a game using the tools that the pros use and mentored. So it's going to be a jam-packed learning experience and super fun, I promise. This voucher will get you into that course for free. Don't worry if you've never programmed before. It's meant to teach you everything from the ground up. So be sure to enter. Don't forget. You have a week. All right. So moving on to the winners. So Raffle prizes for this week are going out to 2 winners chosen randomly. They sent us their Frog Squash high scores, and our winners are Sergey Y and Samantha D. Remember, you need to email us. So congratulations to the winners. Be in touch at community@terminal2.com and claim your prizes. Great. So once you play the passage, once you get your screenshot that you're happy with, you can send it to us on any of our social media platforms or through email. So be sure to tag us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or our YouTube channel at Terminal2, or you can email us at community@endlessnetwork.com. Remember, if you are old enough to have a social media account, please ask your parents first and get them to help you. All right. So, thank you for joining us this week on Terminal 2 Tuesdays. Don't forget to play the passage and share with us your screenshots. We're very excited to see them. Hack the game and tell your friends. It's way fun to play against your friends. So that's it for this week. Don't forget to join us in a week, same time, same place. Tell your friends, tell your family, and they can even participate in the challenges too. And you can compete against your friends. It's pretty fun. Highly recommended. Anyway, we'll see you in a week. Take care.